right, man. How you been?
Man, I've been blessed and highly favored, as usual. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my response every single time. Blessed and highly favored. You know why?
Why?
Because I don't get my joy from my circumstances. That's why. So even if I'm going through something rough, I get my joy from the Lord. So I'm good.
Beautiful.
I'm blessed. Amen.
I need to adopt that attitude.
Yeah, it's a good one to have.
Yeah.
It's just you have to look past the current situation and look towards what God's promise is, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what I do consistently. So I stay blessed and highly favored. Even if I'm in a rough patch, I'm like, you know what? Up there, it's going to be good. So I'm blessed and I'm alive. And I got kids that love me and a wife that loves me, a good godly woman. So no matter what's going on in my life, I am blessed, dude.
Cool. All right. How far do we go back? Let me do the intro. This is the MC Circle, where I bring guests on who have been in music with me and all walks of life through the music industry. This is my good friend Harvey, Chris Harvey.
Yep.
He has been a blessing in this dark industry, and not to say I've had too many dark experiences in the industry, but it can feel pretty lonely, and he's had my back from day one.
Amen.
So
never doubted you for a minute, man.
This is Harvey, and we're going to talk about some music. So, man, what do you think your first, and I ask everyone this on the show, especially their first episode, but what do you think your first musical inspiration was in hip-hop?
So I was in third grade, and I heard
way back.
Yeah, I was young. I was in third grade, and my brother had the NWA album. He had the Tupac Greatest Hits album, and he had the Bone Thugs and Harmony album. And I would sneak into his room and steal his CDs and bring them into my room and just blast them. and then my dad would get home from work and hear me blasting that music, and he was not happy about it. I was a young kid listening to that, and I loved it. I tried to rap along with him, and sing along with him, and so that's kind of where my love for rap started. Plus, I have a cousin, my cousin Fernando Fernie. He loved rap. My cousin Leo, he loved rap, and they all influenced me when it comes to that. So anytime I was around any of them, they were always listening to these artists, you know, and I just grew a love for them, at a young age, really.
Nice. Did so you said Tupac and who?
I was the three albums I had was the NWA.
Yeah.
I didn't have them. My brother had them. I stole them from him.
NWA.
It was NWA. Pac's Greatest Hits. It was the two CDs. The two discs.
The double album.
The double album. The Pac's Greatest Hits.
Yeah.
And then Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Wow. Benji, who was the previous episode who hopped on here, that's like his go-to. He's very into music. Like when I say deep into it, like he I don't know, he gets into concepts very deep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he
studies the bars.
100% studies and teaches them, because he teaches me something new every day.
Yeah. Every
day I see him. But okay, so you had kind of the same story with me. I was too young to be listening to that music and stole it from my older brother, and parents didn't like it either. So it's kind of the same. That. Yeah, definitely can relate. Is it? What do you think? So from there, you went. You liked the music. You started to rap along with it.
So how did it grow?
At what point did it become like, okay, I want to make my own song?
Yeah. So when I was younger, even younger than when I started listening to rap, I guess around the same time, I had an uncle I still have an uncle. He's still alive. My uncle Travis Cornett. He's a great guitarist, and he can listen to a song and then play it, And so he started teaching me how to play the guitar and how to sing. And the first song I learned was "Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley, Hang Down Your Head and Cry."
Yeah.
Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and die. That's the first song I learned on the guitar,
Yeah.
and it's this old country song about a guy who killed his wife and ended up getting hung for it. Caught her cheating, and then something. I think that's anyways. It's something I probably shouldn't have been singing, but it was a good song. It was a good old song, and my uncle taught me that. So that started kind of my love for singing, and I didn't really know I liked to sing or that I could,
Yeah.
And so I started kind of there, and then it grew, and then I heard rap music, and then I heard Metallica, and I loved Metallica. So
Metallica's the shit.
Yeah, hey, I'm gonna keep it down now. Y'all might hear me stopping him cursing.
Sorry.
Or him stopping me. So, anyways, so hey, Christians ain't perfect. We're still that sanctification's a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
So my love it started growing, but so I knew I wanted to do that. I was taking guitar lessons for a little while. It didn't really stick. So what really started me into rapping was being in high school. Mm-hmm. We got in high school and they were beatboxing on the lunch tables, and I heard them, and I heard a bunch of guys rapping, and I was like, man, I could do that.
Yeah,
I could do that. I could do that. And so that's where it started. Me and Travis, Morris, we would go up to the lunch tables and just start rapping with people, and start rapping with the group. And they all were kind of like, who's this white boy coming in here rapping, But it was fun, and that's where it started. And it just kind of grew from there, the love for music and singing and country music. And, I grew up with my dad hunting and fishing, and all they listened to was old country music out there, and old rock and roll, and I just grew a love for all types of music growing up. It really, and my mom, loved Hispanic music, so and mariachi bands and stuff, and when we'd have a family reunion on our Mexican side, my uncle would get the mariachi band together and he would sing, and I just loved it, and so I grew a passion for all kinds of music. I just loved it. I love it all. You know what I mean, I love all kinds of music.
You're very musical like you just sing, you just bust out in song like all the time.
Well, now I do a lot of praise and worship. I just praise the Lord, So I'll be. Last night, after we went under contract, I put on some worship music, and I was just walking around the house with my hands raised, just singing to the Lord, like, thank you, Lord, for blessing me, and so nowadays it's mostly praise. I praise the Lord with it, and the rap has evolved. But in terms of first getting into music, it was with Fortune Flip, that, and your older brother Paul was our producer, right here in this studio, in the same studio we record in today. It's just evolved, it's grown, but may he rest in peace. By the way, we love Paul, but that was our first professional recording, and that was we used a bunch of other people's beats. So we were giving the album away for free, obviously, because a
mixtape.
It's a mixtape, and that one was. It's funny because I'll go back and listen to it sometime, and it is rough. I was like, wow, it's rough, and then we grew from there, but that's where it started. Right here, actually, the recording and the actually learning how to record in a booth and how to write music and structure it. Travis helped me a lot with that. He taught me how to structure a song, and so which he learned from someone else. But here is where it started, Bunkhouse Studios. This is where it started, right here.
I didn't know it started here.
Yeah, this was our first place ever to record.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. What high school did y'all go to? How did y'all meet Paul?
So we went to Klein Collins.
Yeah.
But Zach, who was our other guy in Fortune Flip, he knew Paul somehow. He had got his info from somebody because we were looking for a recording studio.
Yeah.
And somehow he linked up with Paul. They knew each other somehow, maybe on Facebook. I can't remember exactly how, but it was through Zach that we met, and then we all met at Denny's or something, and us three and Paul all sat down and kind of talked about everything we wanted to do, and then we just went from there, and soon after that we were recording. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I knew about you guys. No. I didn't know there was a connection there until Paul told me. Mm-hmm. I said, I saw these guys. I saw your Wasted Words video on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then that's when so maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. What happened in between the time with Fortune Flip from the time, I guess y'all left Paul's studio or something happened there? What happened in between that time and me meeting you?
So we, my addiction with drugs started whenever we with meth.
Yeah.
Because I was a meth addict for 15 years.
Yeah.
And by God's grace, here I am. That testimony video coming soon. I was under the influence while I was in this studio many, many times. We never did drugs here, obviously, because Paul was very against that. And you couldn't. So we were always doing drugs on the way here, and stuff. But it was like, it was what it was. That's where it started, and then. So I went through a long period of really trying to. I was just drugged out and not really doing anything, you know what I mean? And so me and Travis ended up, we stayed friends. He lived with me a lot, and here and off and on, and so we were, talking. We had been talking about Fortune Flip. We had been kind of like, hey, we need to revive it up again, and then. Mm-hmm. And then one day we started. We just met a couple guys. We met a beat maker, and then we met Mike Silva with Blackbeard Recording Studio.
Shout out Mike.
Shout out to Mike. Oh, he's a great producer. That guy can really put some music together. And so we met him, and he was close to us in Spring, and so we put together, we chose our beats, we got the beats, and then we just kind of went from there. And I was still on drugs, but I had started trying to get off drugs way back. I went to rehab a couple times, did this and that, and it just never really worked. I'd be sober for this long off of dope, and then this and that, but that's another story. But in all honesty, in all fairness, we could have gone a lot further if I was in the mind I am in today.
Yeah.
We could have gone a lot further than what we did, and so I take a lot of blame for that, for Fortune Flip, because we did have good music.
Yeah.
But I realized that, like Wasted Words, it's a good song, it was put together well, the video was good.
Yeah, it was.
There's a lot of good songs that we have on that album, on that Late Arrival album.
Yeah.
And Up Again, that was right after my motorcycle wreck that I almost died in, and we created Up Again, and I wrote the hook, and then I told Travis, I just want you to rap. All I want to do is sing on this song. We back for who I was back then, the music was right. That's what I was doing. We were drinking, partying. Trying to make it, trying to get famous, but really, we couldn't do much, and we couldn't be as active as because, we were also working, and we were also, and I was doing a lot of drugs, so it's like, where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do,
You got to live during.
Yeah,
this,
and you got to market yourself. We weren't
Yeah.
marketing ourselves good enough. We weren't.
Which is
out.
hard to. Anyway.
We weren't. Yeah, we weren't putting out the. We weren't really doing the legwork when it comes to marketing. We tried, you know, but it's hard to do on your own. You know, if you don't hire somebody. We tried to hire a couple people to help us get shows and stuff, and they were crooks. You know.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of bad experiences with people like that. You know, and and then those things like Afton Entertainment, where they will, like, they'll schedule. I
still get emails.
They'll schedule out a show and they'll just invite a bunch of rappers and they're like, "Oh, come and do a show here."
Yeah.
You're just doing a show with a bunch of other rappers that paid to do shows.
Yeah, and that's the audience. It's a bunch of rappers.
That's the audience. People that are trying to get, and it's like, so it really, you don't really get anywhere going to those ones. You have to book shows and go to stuff. Our biggest shows were the ones we found ourselves at local bars. Like we did one at Acadia, and it was great. Yeah. They're a rock. They do rock and hard heavy metal stuff there. Yeah. And when we came in, and they were like, people aren't going to like your music. We were like, just give us a chance and let us do it. And we got up on stage and we did 3 or 4 songs, and they were like, wow. Yeah. They said, dude, we don't get people in here. Y'all come anytime and perform. Everybody loved listening to y'all. We don't get guys like y'all in here. And so that was cool, it's kind of a validation, And then we did South by Southwest, which, again, one of the crook promoters set us up for 3 or 4 gigs, and we only ended up doing 1, I think, maybe 2.
That blows.
Yeah, because it just didn't pan out. They didn't even have us on their list. It was like the guys screwed us, So but we got in, we did a show or 2, and then the rest of the time we just partied, But so and then Fortune Flip kind of we fell apart. We weren't going anywhere, and I was still on drugs, and we just kind of fell apart. Travis didn't want to continue it anymore. I don't think any of us really had it in us to continue it anymore, especially in the state of mind I was in.
Yeah.
And so, I got out of it for a little bit. I would still write here and there. I would still listen to stuff here and there, but I didn't really get back into it until, I started doing solo with you. Now, while we were doing Fortune Flip is when we met you. And we were doing promoting. And
I was trying to help both of them. And I was not to take any credit, I did something easy, but I got their stuff on streaming. They didn't know how to do that.
Yeah, exactly. You helped out a lot with that. And that's
at that time I was trying to be a manager, so I was trying to manage different artists, and I was like perfect. And which was weird was I found y'all on social media, and I was like, I told my older brother, I was like, I found these guys Fortune Flip, they seem pretty good, like the music is good, and he was like, what the? He was like, I know those guys.
Yeah. How long? It's been 10 years.
Yeah, so it was pretty surreal for you two, really. It was all new to me, but,
Yeah, that was funny. I remember that because we had met like 3 times, and I never put it in my head together. Caleb Ash.
Yeah.
Paul Ash.
Yeah.
Because we just always called him Paul Nasty.
Yeah.
And so... You had met with us like 3 times, and then on the 4th time you came, you're like, "Oh, by the way, you know my brother Paul." I was like, "What? You know what?" You're like, "Yeah, he's my brother." I was like, "What, dude? What a small world." He's like, "Yeah, that's what he said." Like same thing. They were kind of so that's when we linked back up, and then we started doing stuff together and solo stuff that's when we started.
Well, at the time, I hadn't really tried to sing much, on my records, and I knew I needed someone to sing. And I was like, well, let's collaborate. And I threw you a song. I wrote a singing song, "Reminisce."
Yeah.
And I was like, I know it can be sung well, but I'm not ready for this. So I gave it to you, and
you gave that to me. You wrote it, and my mom, that's one of her favorite songs.
Really?
She loves "Reminisce."
Oh, really?
She loves "Reminisce." She said, "I love that song except for that it has the F word in it one time."
That's what my dad said.
She said everything else, I love that song, and she, and I'm like, I didn't even write that song. I just sung it, and I'm good with that. Like people are like, oh. They talk down on people who get their songs written for them. Write all my songs.
I was singing songs.
If it aligns with my stuff, I'll sing it nowadays. So now, so that's now kind of where we're at now. Is like, it's evolved into, okay, so now I'm a solo artist, right?
Yeah.
And the past 4 years that I've really been just connected to the Lord, man, I can't even listen to old rap music I used to. I love Eminem. Okay, I loved him so much. And every now and then I'll put on one of his new songs and I'll be like, man, that's good lyricism. But then I'll hear something in there that's like talking about the demon in me, is you know what I mean, and or whatever it is. And he says that a lot, the demon in me, or the, you know. But he also has a song out about Christ. So that's what he did with Kanye. But in it like,
I love that song, by the way.
My soul cannot take the music anymore.
Yeah.
My spirit rejects it. If I hear a song that's cussing, and look, I'm not perfect. I still cuss. I have, I'm working on it.
But just vulgarity for vulgarity's
vulgarity,
sake.
like I listen to it and I'm like, this isn't something that I would approve any of my family listening to. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's still some old songs. There's still songs I listen to from the, there's a lot of songs. There's a lot of rock artists and that I didn't realize were Christian. You know? Yeah. And then a lot of like artists that have come to Christ. Korn.
Yeah, I've seen
come to Christ.
A few videos of that. Yeah.
So, anyways, there's just some things. There's just things I can't listen to anymore. I can't, and it blows my mind because I used to think I would never give up that type of music. Yeah. I'll never stop listening to Eminem ever. He's the greatest rapper alive. I still attest to that. You know.
Well, when you went on a spiritual journey, it makes you more sensitive to those things. I think for me, it's more about. Like, I still curse, and so I had a bad line. I'm still nervous about putting out. But my thing is like, I was talking to my friend EOT about this. Is like, I can't, like, when someone starts telling me that I shouldn't do something, it makes me want to do it more. Yeah. I don't know why. I think
Rebellion
it's because, well, I don't know if it comes from a rebellious place. I think it comes from, okay, if I start listening to other people about my creativity, it doesn't feel authentic to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's all about my truth and not someone else's.
Yeah. There's my truth and then there's the truth.
Well, yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
I get that.
You know, I'll preach to you all day and I'll tell you, there's my truth and then there's the truth. Yeah. My truth ain't always true.
Well, yeah.
You know? And even in the beginning. So, in the beginning, when... I had first got off drugs, when I had first got off meth. Yeah. And we did the song Black Cloud together. Yeah. And that's a great song. I was thinking about it today. Into that song. Yeah. And I said some cuss words in there. Yeah. And I was singing it the other day, and like I still sang the cuss words, you know what I mean? But it's like now for me, like, could I sing that live? I'd have to switch it up a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's okay.
Like, change bitch to chick or
that's
something.
The journey you're on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just change those words around because sorry for my language there. So I'm trying. I think they'll forgive you. Know, yeah, I think they'll forgive me because I it's just my mind and the best way I can describe it is I have had a paradigm shift. Yeah. So my way of thinking, the way I view the world, the way I see things, the way I perceive things is totally different. And so my rap style is totally different. My singing is totally different. And it's the transition has been hard for me because making something sound good in a way that I'm not used to. I've been doing it one way for so long, and then I switched it up, and I'm like, okay, I got to try and do it to glorify God now. Yeah. And it's been a tough transition for me. It's been hard, but, we got a couple of good things in the works. Yeah. So I'm happy about that, and I'm looking forward to more praise and worship songs I want to write, and the only thing with that is not having a band because you need instruments, and it costs a lot. Like my country song, man, it cost me a lot to compose because I had to find the guitarist and find the drummer and find these guys, and I had to pay them to put in their part. The guitarist on Just a Dream was the guitarist that did went on tour with Dierks Bentley or one of
Oh,
them,
really?
One of them, yeah. Like Mike hooked me up with those
Road guys, yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the guitarists that. So it's like these are people that they cost money, and it ended up costing me a few grand, to make that one song.
It's so expensive to hire a band.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, man, dude, like if I had a band that could play what I need them to play, so I could sing, it'd be different. But it's hard. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is just trying to navigate the change that I've made in my in the way that I'm outputting music, the way that I'm singing, the way that I'm rapping. It's totally different. I mean, you notice you don't see any cussing into my stuff anymore. Every time I come in here to record, it's something about the Lord. It's something about. It's just different.
I like it.
Yeah, I know you like it. It's just totally, it's just totally different from anything I've ever done. So it's been a hard transition. It's been a kind of a slow transition into it, but I think I'm starting to get the feel of it now, of what I want to do, and I'm just kind of going with what the Lord sends me to do. So it's like if He puts the opportunity, the right sound and the right beat and the right, I'm going to go with it. So.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a quick break. All right, and we're back. So, last time, a second ago, you said you transitioned to more, Christian-based music, and you don't really listen to the, vulgarity of other songs.
Yeah, well, we call it secular music. Yeah.
Secular.
Secular.
Yeah. I call it worldly.
Worldly, yeah, same thing. That's what secular means.
Okay, good.
So, same thing.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. So, it's just my mind has completely shifted. So. Yeah. I'm just. I know that the Lord gave me the voice that He gave me to do something with it, and most of the time, not most of the time, in the Bible it says that we need to use our gifts to glorify God. We need to use the God-given gifts and talents so that we can be agents of change. Yeah. Okay, and an agent of change is just what it sounds like. Someone who is on a mission to change the world, change people for the better. Mm-hmm. And I can't do that effectively in the right manner if I am cussing and rapping about smoking and drinking and
not practicing what you preach.
Not practicing what I preach. Now, look, we all are sinners, okay, and and we are all hypocrites to an extent. Mm-hmm. It says in the Bible. Even the most righteous of us is like a dirty, bloody rag to God. It literally says it's like a period rag to God. Man. Literally. It doesn't say it period rag, but it says a woman's bloody rag. Yeah. And that's what it's talking about.
Yeah, of course.
They used to have rags back then.
In context.
So it's even the most righteous of us. So we are all sinners, okay? So, I just do the best to practice what I preach, and I do my best to stay focused and... it's just, it's...
I 100% support it. I would be lying if I said I wasn't glad that we did get things like Reminisce and Black Cloud, just for like the way it was and the artistry behind like that emotion of what, like that's what I was previously saying, like the authenticity of it. When you're going through a breakup, and you're going through hard times of being alone, like Reminisce. It's different. You're not thinking like you're thinking F this, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean? Right. That's exactly right. And I'm sure if something like that happened to me again, I'd probably get angry, and put something out.
Get enough.
You know what I mean?
Get enough in you to let one loose.
To let a couple F-bombs drop. You know what I mean? But I'm just in such a good, godly marriage now, and my wife is so supportive of everything I do. And
you're in a different life now,
dude. Totally different. Yeah, it's night and day, the difference. And when we made Black Cloud, I just started my process of my divorce of my ex-wife. Well, I didn't. She did. You know, she initiated it, and I was in a place, and I was struggling. Yeah. You know, because at that moment, at that time, I was trying to get her back. I wanted the marriage to work. I wanted it. You know what I mean? And so I was in a rough place. But the song that came out, I mean, it was good.
It was so good.
Really good. You know. And
do you think that emphasis that you put on it, although it was mainly vulgar, it let you kind of like decompress? Like when you made your verse on that song, did it like just like get something off your chest?
Oh, dude, I was in my, because you know, you go from living with your kid and your wife to living alone. Yeah. And I was in there singing that song loud. Yeah. Tears in my eyes.
Really?
You know,
so it was therapeutic.
Really, all I want to do is... And I was singing it hard, dude, you know? Yeah. And so, yeah, it helped decompress, get some stuff out, you know? Uh-huh. And then it was right around the time that, you know, I started just really getting in it for Christ, you know? I was going to Bible studies 3 times a week, 4 times sometimes a week. Yeah. Because that's what I had to do. I had to change my routine completely in order to get off of meth, you know. So I really let go and let God, you know. Yeah. And so eventually it got to the point, you know, after that first, like, because shortly after we did that show at the Manor, it was in. Did I sing that song at the show?
I don't think so. I think you did Reminisce.
Devil's Advocate.
You hopped on our song together, Devil's Advocate. That's a good song too. Yeah. Yeah, and you helped me with. You did some back vocals for. What's it called? It's my number 1 song.
And you can't remember the name?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
That's funny.
The country song, the music video that you were in. Don't Speak on Me.
Yeah.
You did some back vocals for Don't Speak on Me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, yeah.
You were like the perfect transition between me and another artist. Yeah. So you came in and kind of buffered. You set me up nice.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, that was a good little show. I enjoyed that. Yeah, so, you know, that's kind of where we're at right now. When it comes to the music, is my whole perspective, my whole view on it has changed. So,
to be honest, I didn't like when you told me that originally. I was like, man, like you gotta go total PG on me, you know, that kind of thing. But once you started getting in the booth and recording, I was like, okay, this is like I can get behind this. Yeah. And then you kind of hit me with another, that singing one. It's been a long road, which hasn't come out yet. Yeah. But when you hit me with that one, I was like, okay, all right.
Well, the thing is like, you know, the Lord's gonna give it to me. You know what I mean? Just like the last one we just recorded, Radio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
that's a good song too.
Yeah, that one was cool, man. I enjoyed writing that. I really enjoyed writing it and really enjoyed rapping that in the booth. And I was just like, man, you know, and then that song that just popped up in my head again, Relentless, popped up in my head, and all of a sudden I remembered that song out of nowhere. Like the Lord dropped it in my head, and I started singing it, and I started rapping it. You know, I never quit, I'm relentless, do it to the day that I'm dead. It's a life sentence. And I was like, man, I could turn that into a hard Christian song. Yeah, because it talks about God in it. You know, and because I say, you know, the struggle in the trenches will leave you with a couple of life lessons. Put up some high fences surrounding my blessings. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was like, I can change those last 2 or 3 lines and make it and turn it into a Christian rap song. Easy. Yeah. And so I think that once you find that beat, that's what I'm gonna work on next. But
I'll find it today for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it's been good. I'm glad the transition's been a little slow with that. But now that I'm kind of getting the feel of it, you know, it's gonna, and it'll be good because we'll put out 2 or 3 songs, you know, and pretty quick because you know 2 of them are done, right? One of them's almost done.
They're recorded, and we need to find someone to mix.
Well, there's one of them that isn't finished completely. I think that we're doing.
Maybe it might have been Long Road.
Long Road's not finished. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, Long Road's not finished.
Yeah.
So but that's gonna be good, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So in closing, do you? What? I lost it. I lost it. In closing.
Bye. In closing.
I guess that's a good place to finish. Yeah. Do you? I swear it was like right there. I'm sorry, guys. I
forgot my last question.
Yeah, I forgot my last question. I'd love to have you back on soon.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. We can talk more, and maybe I can remember that thing that I just lost.
So maybe it was just like, Lord's like, you don't need that one.
God's like, no, not yet.
Not yet. All right. Well, hey, God bless y'all.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout for the new stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Till next time, homies. I need to come up with a better tag.